I'd like to call to order the Zion Park District, November 16th order. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Frank, Commissioner Pye, Commissioner Magiera.
Here.
Commissioner Rivers.
Here.
President Hartman.
Here. Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting.
We're gonna do that. Okay. Do you want to do the pledge?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if I can get everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance. Wow.
I'm surprised she had to remind you of that.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have to scratch that out. Okay. Now, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Personnel and Finance Subcommittee and the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Zion Park District dated October 19th, 2023.
I have a second.
Second.
All right. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera.
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers. President Hartman.
Aye. Okay. Yes. Any agenda changes, Eric?
No.
Okay. So I will approve the agenda as stated.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera.
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers.
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. Okay, commissioners' comments. I do have another successful summer. Again, this park district just continuously amazes people on the hard work that everybody puts into every event that goes on. Another year, cool, 0 incidents. That tells how good of lifeguards that we have, because, you know, it is a tough job, and, you know, those guys deserve a lot more. The Halloween event was second to none. I was shocked to see how many cars actually showed up, and thank God that Kay, Eric, and the staff thought ahead and brought out 50 bags and gave them to security, because we had to cut the line short at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Not me, no, the staff. That was the staff's idea.
So,
They do a great job.
Again, great job. So, you know, I'm so honored to be a commissioner on this park district, and I know that I could speak for the rest of the board members. They feel the same way. So, thanks everybody. Appreciate all your concerns and your hard work. Go ahead.
I would like to add to that great event that the Healthy Coalition pulled off this November with the annual spelling bee. I just want to thank all the participants. I want to thank City of Hope, my additional team members, City of Hope, and the City of Hope and the Zion Fitton Library. And I also had a great time with our township supervisor Sherry Mill and Zion board member Patricia Stevens, and the award ceremony this week. So it's been great. Like I said, it's an honor to serve here at the park district. We really enjoyed ourselves over the last few weeks, partnershiping with other, networking with other people in the community. Actually, Lake County Judge George Jonam, I think his name, and John Jonam, I'm sorry, and Zion Commissioner Frierson, who heads up the Health Coalition over there. So I just want to thank them for inviting us and being a part of that.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Anything else, Cheryl? Okay. All right. Anything from the attorneys?
Nope, nothing.
All right. All right. I will entertain a motion for unpaid bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the Zion Park District expenditures for the month of October in the amount of $387,059.29.
I have a second.
And second,
All right. I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera.
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers.
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right. Executive report.
Yeah, so I mean, I know everyone covered the Trail of Treats. One of the things I put in at the very back of the report, or second to last page, I think was a nice, maybe third to last page, was a nice snapshot from social media. Just people kind of saying how much fun they had, how much they enjoyed it, thank you, all that kind of stuff. I think anytime you have a string of social media feedback that long without negativity in it, that, you know, that's a win. So that's certainly good to see. It was a good turnout and a good event. I also wanted to mention on the very last page of the report, there's the flyer for the holiday luncheon, which is coming up. So that'll be held on Wednesday, December 13th at the Shiloh Center, 10 to noon. The luncheon for ages 55 and over. Cheryl, I believe you went last year, maybe with your mother.
Yeah, I'll be able to, should be able to go this year too.
Okay,
My mother
so
will be with me though.
okay, so yeah, we can definitely want to extend that invitation to any board member that would like to attend. Yeah, Kay can coordinate the registration for you, just kind of get you on the guest list. But it's always a nice holiday event, so the board's certainly welcome to attend. I also wanted to just kind of make the board aware of a taxing body leaders community event that I attended and presented at. That was held on October 25th at Zion Benton Township High School. We probably had, I don't know, maybe 100 in attendance, kind of filling up that South Commons area. We get a pretty good response on that. And it's just really a community focused, like communication event to kind of keep residents up to date on, you know, what's going on and what's being worked on throughout the different taxing bodies. And that has been a real good, productive group, you know, to be a part of. To be sure that all the taxing bodies, you know, in Zion are working together, and looking for opportunities to partner together, to work together, you know, as Carolyn just mentioned as well with the coalition, you know, and other board members. It's just really to the benefit of the residents. And so I appreciated that opportunity to present at that event, and it was well attended. The other thing that I wanted to update the board on, which was not in my report because it just actually happened yesterday, was to provide an update on the status of the City of Hope Hospital and their application for property tax exemption. So if you remember, I think I introduced this last month because we received the notice from them, you know, so late, that City of Hope is applying for property tax exempt status based on they believe that they're a nonprofit, right? Questionable, but we had the Lake County, the first meeting or the first step was the Lake County Board of Review meeting. Down at the county on County Street in Waukegan. So again, everyone working together in that group, which again consists of, you know, myself, the mayor, the city administrator, police chief, fire chief, director of the library, township supervisor, superintendents of both District 6 and 126, and the township assessor as well, you know, Colette Davis. So we've all been talking about this and kind of strategizing the best way to really fight it, because CTCA, which is now City of Hope, you know, is the largest taxpayer in Zion. So if they go property tax exempt, it's a huge concern and challenge, right? So we've all been working not only as a group together, but having our attorneys work together. So all the entities' attorneys were at the meeting, either, you know, physically at the meeting or on Zoom. And the room was packed as well, where the hearing was held, in addition to, you know, a lot of people on Zoom. And the board member even made the comment, like, this is an unprecedented turnout. We've never had, you know, this many guests before with this much interest in a property tax appeal. You know, for whatever reason, a representative from the hospital, their law firm, whoever, did not show up at all.
He didn't?
No.
Wow.
So there was no representation from the hospital there.
That's not good.
Yeah,
that is
which
good.
which was not good for them, good for us. You know, we still went along and presented all of the different, you know, counterpoints and arguments that we had, right? The attorneys made real good points on, you know, holes in the applications, inconsistencies in the application, questions on where they were getting these numbers from, these nonprofit numbers, what the nonprofit service was. The variety of property ID numbers that they have throughout the city, like 30 of them, to say, well, why would a vacant lot that they own be a tax exempt piece of property, right? And so a lot of that stuff was brought up. And as the person who was conducting the hearing said, without them here to answer, right, it makes it extremely difficult to give them any benefit of the doubt if they're not here to answer, right? So, I mean, you kind of quickly got the tone that it was going in our favor. Ultimately, the Lake County Board of Appeals made the recommendation to deny their property tax appeal, which was good and which is what we were looking for in that first step. Now, my understanding is from there it goes down to Springfield. It's going to go down south. And then there is actually like another board through the Illinois Department of Revenue that really actually makes kind of like the final decision. But, this is going down there with Lake County's recommendation to deny. From what I've heard, from what we've heard on other cases, sometimes Illinois Department of Revenue considers that a material recommendation or factor in their decision. Sometimes, they almost disregard it. So it's hard to say, right? So it's hard to say at this point. I can continue that our group will continue to work together to continue to strategize, continue to fight this and follow it.
State meeting? When is
I haven't heard of a date on the state meeting.
And this is another reason why we need to get IAPD involved, because of the juice they have down in Springfield.
Yeah, I mean, we are
So-
definitely working with our legislators, which we always do, which is, Senator Memoriasl, Representative Joyce Mason, Lake County Board Rep Gina Roberts, who, as it goes down to Springfield, has a little bit of less pull down there, obviously, but Joyce and Memoriasl certainly do. They're in favor. They're on our side.
And Jason is definitely well in the mix of that.
Yeah, we're also working with Senator Adrian Johnson, who's the senator that represents like the Waukegan district. So we have a lot of people on our side, and we're working hard on it, and that's really the update that I just wanted to give you guys at this time. And I'll continue to update you on it as I learn more information, as we hear of a date. I mean, even if it's like off board meeting dates, we'll send out an email or something like that to share information on it.
Okay.
All right. So that's all for my director's report.
All right. Next is the ordinance providing the issue of proximity for the ordinance here?
Mm-hmm. For the bonds, I
For
can
the bonds.
you may let Aaron take over.
Sure.
Aaron, are you still there, I hope? Hey, Aaron, are you still there? Are you on mute?
Is Jesse there?
Jesse, are you there?
Are you on mute?
No. I know. I thought it was. I was like, I'll put it on mute, but I'm like, I don't know.
All right. Well, we can
I
move
could-
on and then.
Well, let me try to just call him right back real quick, and then we can call Jesse back.
Hey, Eric.
Hey there, did I lose you at some point?
It dropped in and out, and I was out at that point. I'm very, very sorry for this inconvenience.
Oh, that's okay. So we're,
Bridge Jesse back in, or?
yeah, let me try to get Jesse real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Jess.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna patch Aaron Gold back in, and then he's gonna go through the bonds. Okay.
I love that too.
Okay. We're gonna patch Aaron in. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Are you there, Aaron?
I am.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Again, thank you everyone for accommodating me here this evening. I truly truly appreciate it. Eric has invited me out to present the results of the sale of the district's taxable general obligation limited tax park bond series 2023. I refer to these bonds as the district's annual rollover bonds. This issue was executed as a self-purchase pricing that I priced on Tuesday. I priced this issue at a net interest cost of 5.35%. This bid was determined based on a comparably structured taxable one-year Illinois Park District issue that was priced that same morning via private placement with one of their local banking partners at this exact same rate. At the same time, on that same day, the current one-year T-note was sitting at a rate of 5.37% the morning of pricing. So your annual rollover bonds are issued as general obligation limited tax. General obligation means that the bonds are paid for by a direct property tax levy, but they are limited or constrained. The first limit is how much of this type of debt the district can have outstanding in total. That's referred to as the district's non-referendum debt capacity. And the second constraint is how much the district can levy each year to repay the principal and interest when due. That levy constraint is referred to as the district's debt service extension base. So when you issue these bonds on an annual basis, we call them rollover bonds. What you're really doing is exercising the board's non-referendum authority to bill its bond and interest property tax levy up to its max capacity, which grows each year by a CPI adjustment. So sticking with the theme of it being a rollover bond, we anticipate closing on November 30th. It is a one-year issue with the final maturity on December 15th of 2024. And with the final interest rate that we determined, the issue was resized to $660,085 to fully utilize the district's 23 debt service extension base or non-referendum bond and interest levying capacity. In total, this issue will generate approximately $649,735,000 in new money to support the capital initiatives of the district. And total new money generated through this process is up $28,045 or 4.51% from the district's prior year rollover issue. We therefore recommend that the district's taxable general obligation limited tax park bond series 2023 be awarded to the district's corporate fund at a price of $660,085, being at a net interest cost of 5.35%. And just to elaborate a little bit further on the concept of the self-purchase, what's really happening here is you are issuing a legal debt obligation and you are purchasing a legal debt obligation. And then closing on November 30th, what you'll be doing is you'll be transferring funds from your corporate fund to your capital projects fund, essentially restricting those funds for capital purposes. And then at the same time, when the property tax revenues come in from the 2023 levy cycle collected in 24, it'll be used to essentially pay yourself back, writing off the investment and the liability at the same time, where interest expense and interest revenue wash out. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, thank you so much for accommodating me in my schedule, allowing me to present remotely. If you have any questions at all, I'd be more than happy to help. Thank you for your time.
Can you hang on here, Aaron, for 2 minutes for questions if the board has them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Joe.
Just a question before we do the motion.
Yeah.
So instead of 659,110, it's going to be 660,085?
Correct.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And that number changes, Cheryl, just because of
Yeah.
the interest rate
Yeah.
that he's using.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? All right. Then I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the bond hearing ordinance as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance providing for the issue of approximately $660,085 for a taxable general obligation limited tax park bond series 2023 for the payment of land condemned or purchased for parks for the building, maintaining, improving, and protecting of the same in the existing land and facilities of the district, for the payment of expenses incident thereto, and providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the corporate fund of the district. Right?
I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers? President Hartman?
Aye. Aaron, I appreciate you taking time out to kind of brief us on this, and you know, I'm just glad that we were able to support you and let you call in.
Absolutely. Thank you again, everyone. Please feel free to reach out to me throughout the course of the year if I can be a resource to the district. And Jesse, good luck out east. I hope you get a win.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care. Okay, next is the approval of the Shiloh Park base bids.
Yep. So we, on November 1st, we conducted our bid opening for Shiloh Park. You know, that we've been talking about and planning here for a long time. Again, as a reminder on some of the funding of this project, this is funded by $400,000 OSLAD grant, 400 for the courts, really, $400,000 DCEO grant for the playground area. And then we've also been able to add, as we presented to the board a few months ago, the Game Time IPRA funding initiative, saving $141,417 on the playground equipment. And so with that being said, we finally conducted the bid opening, and so I've got some detail there. Let me just jump to that page in the packet. It's PDF page 89. And so we had 3 bidders, which we were happy to get 3. Landworks, Stuckey, and Copenhaver. And we bid this out with 2 base bids because we're going to be managing the 2 separate grants. So we're going to have a base bid on the courts because all of those expenditures will be tracked kind of as one contract and then submitted to IDNR for the grant reimbursements. And then we have the second base bid for the playground, and all of those expenditures will be tracked separate and sent to DCEO for the reimbursement on that. And then we also carved off 4 alternate aspects of this, just because, to be honest, we didn't know how to give ourselves flexibility, right? So we added alternate number 1, which was the picnic shelter. That large picnic shelter, it's called the Shiloh Shelter, kind of on the western side of the park there. That was alternate 1. And then alternate number 2 was a half-court basketball court, which you recall seeing in Lacey's design presentation. Alternate number 3 was the addition of a drinking fountain out there, and then alternate number 4 is the poured-in-place surfacing for half of the playground area.
There's a huge disparity between that all.
So the one guy who bid $283,000 actually came back later and said, I didn't realize what the scope of that was. I bid pour and play for the whole thing. And we said, well, you missed the boat on that.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
So
that's why he was so far out of the water on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I know.
Well, so was Stuckey too.
Yeah, Stuckey was just high. But again, so we combined it this way to give ourselves flexibility, because if the base bids were high, then we could say, well, we're going to deny alternate 1, deny alternate 2, and so on and so forth, and piece this together to a budget that was manageable. But we felt really fortunate to get these bids, especially the bid from Landworks. I was happy that Landworks was the low bidder because Landworks is the current company that's working on Edina Trail for us, and they've been awesome and awesome to deal with. Before we get to, my recommendation is that we approve both base bids and all 4 alternates, in the total amount of $1,469,656. That will also leave, as you kind of look at the other information on that page, right, to complete the project out there, the playground equipment, which the board approved in September. So these other items on this long list here on the left-hand lower corner is like the owner purchase items to try to finish off the park and all the amenities that are out there, right? And we wanted to go the owner purchase route because we thought it would be cheaper, because otherwise if we source this stuff through the contractor, he's going to source it for that price and then probably put 20% on top of it or something like that, right? So we are doing our best to kind of keep the cost low on this, but I just want to make sure that the board understands that the full price of this really is going to be this bid amount of $1,469,000 plus these owner purchase items, which are going to total approximately $302,000. Right now, we've already, or the board, I should say, has already approved $195,000. That's in progress. These other items are the other small miscellaneous items that will, as I note there, will either be sourced through like intergovernmental purchasing cooperatives, like our Sourcewell, our Omnia partners, these where they're pre-bid already, so we know we're getting a direct price. Or some of these will be kind of below bid thresholds, but we'll still look in multiple aspects to figure out, for example, if we're buying like the concrete picnic table, looking at it in a couple different spots to try to get the price. So this is kind of the grand total budget that you see in the right-hand corner as my estimation of probably where we're going to be at kind of all in on this, right? About 1.9 that I'm just putting in that contingency of like 127,000 just in case there's any change orders or we end up paying a little bit more for some of these owner purchase items. That should be a pretty safe contingency amount. So I do think that, that grand total budget of 1.9 million, I think we're getting a lot for that. So I feel good about that. When inflation was running crazy as we've been working on this project over the last 8 months or so, we didn't know if bids were going to just alone come in at $2 million, So because bids got crazy, because these contractors had so much work that they were just throwing out crazy numbers, not caring if they really got the work or not. So again, my recommendation is to accept the bid from Landworks, the low bid from Landworks on all 4 alternates, in that total of $1,469,000.
All right, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for approval of Shiloh Park base bids for Landworks.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll move to approve the amount for 1.469656 for the purchase of Landworks, the contract with Landworks. We did.
I'll second it.
I have a
Okay.
second. Kay, could you please read the roll call?
Commissioner Magiera,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, ordinance 906.
Yep, so ordinance 906 is the official ordinance for the tax levy. Again, all the details and all the numbers, were presented to the board where we present the preliminary levy estimate last month. So there were no changes in any of the numbers. This is just the official document that gets filed with Lake County. Just as a refresher, our additional tax extension will increase by about $150,000. The EAV for the city is estimated to increase about 8.5%, so there has been some good growth in the EAV. As I mentioned in the finance meeting, this continues to keep the Park District at less than 7% of a resident's tax bill, or we get less than 7 cents on every dollar. And this levy here, as it's prepared, is a decrease in the tax rate of 3.97%. Again, a decrease in the Park District's rate of 3.97%. So, this ordinance and this document here is just really the official document to be filed with the county.
All right. Any questions? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the tax levy ordinance 906.
I'll make a motion to approve the tax levy ordinance 906 for fiscal year 2024 to 2025.
I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, the lease option agreement for the solar field.
Yeah, so if you recall, at last month's meeting, the representative from the solar company, Synergy Power, came and gave his presentation, and the board asked him a lot of good questions. And at that point, I wasn't sure if it was something that the board wanted to proceed with. And the attorneys were working on the agreements at that point, right? So the attorneys have worked through really what the first agreement is, like the lease option agreement. And then there's like a second agreement that will follow, which is the actual form of lease. But the lease option agreement basically gives the solar power company, you know, contractually, we're gonna contract with them for them to start their due diligence out on the site and make sure that there is nothing, like he said, that would be, you know, stop the project from going forward. And so they're estimating anywhere from 12 months to 18 months of their due diligence to making sure that the site will work for them. And again, the city has an adjoining lot, and the city's probably about 6 or 8 months ahead of us already in this process on their lot. And I know some of the questions that you tasked me with at last meeting was to go back and ask some questions specific to, like, how do we know we're getting a fair lease rate? Can we check a reference? Was there another one that you can think of off the top of your head? Because I wrote them all down and went back through and asked them, how do they get to the amount that they're getting to, I think was kind of another one. So the answers to those questions that I've found, I did contact, they provided a reference with the city of Pontiac where they have completed 2 solar field projects of the city of Pontiac in Illinois. I talked to their city attorney there, and he said that, yeah, they've been great. They've been a pleasure to deal with. We've completed 2 projects. We're actually looking at a 3rd with them. So he said from a reference standpoint, you know, I have nothing bad to say about them. So that was good. As far as the amount that we're getting, which is going to be $1,500 a month, plus a 2% inflation rider, right? Plus a donation. So I went back and asked them the question of, you know, how do you get to that amount? How do we know it's a fair amount? We have no idea how to value these things, right? And he explained basically that it really comes down to like a mathematical formula of like they calculate kind of like the present values of the future cash flows of what that site is intended to generate. And then they come back and then they figure out with like the present values of the cash flows, like how much they can offer to still, you know, make a profit on their side, but give us something that's meaningful to us. And he explained that for the most part in Illinois, the majority of their leases are anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And I knew that they were in the agreement with the city, and I asked the city what they were getting on theirs. They're getting $1,300 a month. So I feel like we did a little bit better there. He actually started us at $1,200 a month, and through negotiating, we got him to $1,500 a month. So I do feel like that's, you know, kind of the best way that we can judge it. We're also getting that additional annual 2% like inflation kicker, which they're not getting, which is a good thing, just to kind of keep them up with inflation. And then also, really one of the most significant amounts was the $175,000 donation that they're willing to give to us, you know, as they get into the project. And I did include in the packet their letter. Let me make sure. I believe I did.
Now, was this the city of Pontiac's lawyer, or was
Yeah.
this the Park District's?
No, it was the city of Pontiac's project with them. So
Okay.
yeah, I did include on PDF page 101. Because I went back and asked him too. I said, well, can you give us a letter or some kind of documentation that, you know, verifies that you're going to make this donation to us? Again, on his donation letter here, he has, you know, we'll make a donation in the range of $175,000 to $200,000. To be honest, I think that's great, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
The
you know,
number one
we'll
on
take that.
page 98.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, the initial diligent period option to lease payment is $1,000. Is that where it should say $1,500?
No, so that's just their due diligence. Like when they start their due diligence, they're going to pay us
they're gonna-
$1,000.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's just
Gotcha,
kind of a
gotcha,
one-time
yeah,
here.
yeah.
We're going to get started. If you scroll down to kind of the last paragraph on page 2. So there's 2 different types of like solar fields
yeah,
that they could
yeah.
build, and that's why there's a price of $2,000 or a price of $1,500.
Gotcha.
You know, he's upfront and was honest with us and said, based on what we're looking at building out there, it's that single access tracker, which will be about $1,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you can see the 2% increase annually. And so again, this is just really the first one to get them to go ahead into their due diligence.
To review it, yeah.
Yeah, with the full expectation that we will commit to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, real quick, I just want to point out one more thing. Number 3 on PDF page 100, where it says the leaser is a party to a certain landfill site agreement with the City of Zion. So the City of Zion really is maintaining that property from like an Illinois EPA standpoint. And this paragraph we put in there because it says to whatever extent that the leaser, if there's any damage done by these guys out there, it's not going to be the city's responsibility to rectify. It's not going to be our responsibility either. It's just saying that this is going to go back to those guys to correct, if they were to puncture it or do something like that, right? Like puncture the soil or something like that. So, so that's where we're at. So my recommendation is to approve this lease option agreement and move forward with Synergy Power.
Anybody have any other questions? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the lease option agreement for the solar field.
Kedron.
Yeah. By
Yeah,
Kendra.
Kedron, we call it Kedron, yeah.
So moved.
Have a second? Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers? President
Aye. All right, the approval for the personal service agreement
Yeah, so this again is the agreement,
for Hitchcock.
yeah, for Hitchcock. So I wanted to include, the PDF page 102, which is really like the existing master plan for David Park, because this services proposal agreement amendment is for Hitchcock to do additional services out there in relation to the David Park, right, OSLAD project. So the board already approved the $121,200 for Hitchcock, right, which is PDF page 105. And that was based on, that one, 121,200 was based on the plan submitted for the OSLAD grant, which, if you recall, the OSLAD grant itself did not have all the amenities in there. It just had kind of like the bare minimum amenities to meet the grant requirements. And so their design services for that came out to 121, because I asked her to. I was like, why just go up so much, And she said, given the additional amenities and kind of the change in the scope of the project, which is now, 2 soccer fields, 2 basketball courts. We added like renovation of the existing building that's out there. If you recall too, and when Rick was here, he brought this up about the parking lot, right? So this is a complete change of the parking lot with the capacity for 145 spaces, which again was not in any of Hitchcock's initial services agreement. To add an additional exit onto Route 21, requires a lot of permitting through the Lake County Department of Transportation, and so there's just a lot more. This is like a larger project scope. My friend's calling. So this is a larger project scope, which is why it increased. And when you see that other one that says optional services there on the bottom for a potential of 16,900, I asked her what that was about, and she said those services will be dependent upon what happens during permitting. So if stormwater management has additional requirements on us, then if everything went well and really smooth with permitting and there were no difficulties there, we won't be subject to these additional fees. But if there are additional difficulties at the county and at stormwater and Department of Transportation and things like that, then she's just saying, hey, there could be some additional time that we're going to need to spend, which could add up to 16,900. The DECI inspections is when they have to go down there weekly, which they're doing now on Edina Trail, and create an inspection report and submit it to the county. We don't know yet if those are going to be required or not. So, again, Landworks has proven themselves, Hitchcock has proven themselves, and specifically Lacey Lawrence there, to be, a really valuable partner for us. They've done a lot of great design work, a lot of hard things in regards to the permitting, helping us coordinate bidding. And I know that's a decent increase in their services fees. It caught me off guard a little bit too, but I do think that they're worth it. I do think that this total project is going to be more than the Shiloh Park project. It's going to be over $2 million for the development of David. That parking lot alone is going to be kind of expensive. But I do recommend that we accept the amendments to the professional services agreement with
Does
Hitchcock.
someone oversee this from this, entity here, like making sure it
Yeah.
all lines up?
Yeah, they will. Well, in multiple aspects, really. I mean, as you say that, like, so Hitchcock will send to us. I mean, if you're talking about like the oversight of Hitchcock.
Yeah, like will somebody be monitoring this from our end to make sure?
Yeah, because they submit detailed billing to us, and they say, so at this point, we're going to bill you for, permitting. We're going to bill you for design documents, which are 30% done. We're going to bill you for, some of these other services. Their billing is actually pretty detailed and pretty good. They'll say, so of the $195,000 that you agreed to, you have now paid us $40,000. We've completed these services for you. This much is left. Like for example, when we went out for bidding on the Shiloh project, a week or so later we got their invoice for, now we've completed the bidding on your half and tallied all the bids and done the bid reference checks, and here's how much you owe us for the bidding aspect of it. So yes,
Okay.
yeah, they're great. They are great to work with.
Well, that's 90% of it.
Yeah, they've been good. And I asked her too, I said, this does seem expensive. And she said, well, actually, no, this is about, I think she said 6 or 7% of expected construction cost, right? She's like, a lot of people are around 9-10%.
Wow.
So it's really like construction oversight, project management, all of that.
All right, any questions? All right, I will go ahead and entertain a motion for the approval of addendum to the personal service agreement with Hitchcock Design for David Park, Oslet Grant.
I will entertain a motion, I will make a motion to approve the amendment to professional services agreement with Hitchcock Design for David Park Oslake Grant as stated in the document.
I have a
In
second.
the amount of $195,700.
So moved.
I have a second. Kate, please read the roll call.
Commissioner McGarrett?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers?
Aye.
President Hart?
Aye. All right, next one is the quote for purchase of David Park equipment.
Yep. So the final item here is still in relation to the David Park project. We would like to purchase the playground equipment for David Park. We would then take possession of it and store it as we're doing with Shiloh. I mean, unless we can coordinate delivery to where they can deliver it right to the site. But either way, if they needed to deliver it to us, that would not be a problem. Accounting manager Taylor, which I have here on, PDF page 106 is the letter that she applied for the Burke Move With Us grant, and it allowed us to secure a discount of $53,870 off of the equipment. That's why we would like to make this purchase now, because it's time sensitive to be able to utilize that discount. And if you keep going on the following pages, we asked them for a rendering, like we got with Shiloh Park. They gave us a nice rendering, and they were working on it. They actually just couldn't get it done in time for this meeting. But what you can see, without like the fancy rendering and all the kids playing on the equipment and stuff, it gives you the good illustration of what the equipment is. So it's two major structures, a 2 to 5 structure, and then the 5 to 12 structure, which is a larger one. It's a zip line. It's a bay with 6 swings. So 3 traditional swings, 1 bucket seat, a multi-generational and an ADA swing. And obviously we have the ability to change those out at any time if we wanted to change around what the combination is. But basically the idea is capacity for 6 swings out there, in addition to the other 2 small pieces like the climber spinner, that one that kind of looks like a Christmas tree, will spin around as well. And then the other one is kind of like a new school merry-go-round, if you want to call it, right? And there's ADA features on some of these as well that, I don't know if you can get a good vision of it. Not on that, but there's some other, features that are other amenities on these structures, like some of the music chimes and things like that. And then if you look up, if you go back to the PDF page 102, to kind of show that layout. You can see how this, it gives you kind of a decent indication of how that equipment is going to fit, kind of like to the center. It's like the center of that where the park will be, right? So you see the 2 basketball courts on the left, and then the washroom building in the middle, and then you can see how this park equipment will fit in that footprint. So it's really filling up that space nice. It's utilizing that space nice. It's obviously a little bit of a smaller park than Shiloh Park, but that's okay. This equipment is going to be, the manufacturer on this equipment is Burke. The manufacturer on the Shiloh equipment is Game Time. So we wanted to have a good variety of, different manufacturers, different types of equipment. We don't have this zip line feature really anywhere in our other parks, so we thought that would be neat to add because we don't have that anywhere else. So I don't know if there's any other questions.
Where are you storing it all?
So the Hebron building, where Rich is basically vacated out of, is just like a storage shelter, right? So guys aren't in there working. Our
You mean the one
mechanic.
that's ready to fall down almost? That one?
No, but guys aren't in there working, right? They will unload this on a skid, put it in, and that's it,
Okay.
like right by the door.
Isn't the city taking that over?
I think that that's all on hold for them. I mean, they wanted to build like a large municipal complex. I'm not sure if they have the budget to do that, and based on other priorities that might have came up for them. So,
Okay, so it's pretty much ours.
yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Okay, any questions? Any other questions?
What page is the price on?
The final page there, you can see.
Oh, yeah.
With the discount, it shows
Yeah, I
the
see
discount.
it.
Got some shipping on it.
That's page.
Oh, but you know what, Cheryl? Actually, you had mentioned this earlier. That this
Oh,
is
this
the page
one.
we want. The one.
114.
Yeah, the 114. So the difference was, real quick, the reason that's cheaper is because we swapped out some of the things that were like large plastic, either paneling or things like that, because it's just, in our experience, we've had more vandalism and graffiti on some of those large plastic panels. So swapped some of those out with things that are like more bars and stuff like that.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the quote to purchase the David Park playground equipment.
My intent was to approve the David Park equipment for the purchase price of $114. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. $851
Through Sourcewell.
through the social or through Burke.
Well, it's through the Sourcewell Intergoverning Government Purchasing Co-op.
Okay, through the Sourcewell Intergovernment Purchasing.
All right, have a
I'll
second?
second that.
All right, Kay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers?
Aye.
President Harden?
Aye. All right, I will go ahead and entertain a motion that we adjourn the meeting of the Zion Park District for November 16th, 2023.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magiera?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers? President Harden?
Aye.